everybody. Okay, so we're working on project 1 and we are getting ready to turn it in and print it. So let's work on packaging. I'll close my libraries just a second. There we go. So I would, to package this, go to File and 4 items up from the bottom, choose Package. And you'll need to tell it where to go. But before we do, this window does give us fair warning if we have some problems. Now, right now I have no warning where it says Scope, that column. If you have any explanation points in yellow, they're usually yellow triangles, or any red question marks that are in like a form of a stop sign, you actually want to read whatever text is next to it so we can figure out what's gone wrong and how to fix it. So right now I have no problems in what we call pre-flight. There's no problems. So I'm going to hit Package, and I get this thing that comes up, which to many can be confusing. This is printing instructions, assuming that I might actually be sending this to a real commercial printer. Okay? Like, let's say I work for a newspaper, and I am sending the newspaper, well, they have, let's say I'm working for a magazine. And magazines usually are printed off-site of where they're designed. Newspapers are not. But magazines are, so let's say I'm sending this off to my printer. I would type in my contact information, special instructions, and stuff like that here. But we don't have to worry about that in class, so we just hit Continue here. Don't hit Cancel because it will cancel out the whole process. So this is kind of an extraneous thing for us right now. So we're going to hit Continue. And I'm going to tell it where I want this to save. Now, I'm going to just take it to the desktop for now. But what it's going to do is it's going to name this packaged folder whatever name my InDesign file was, plus the word folder at the end. So if you're looking for the packaged folder, if you just look for the word folder at the end of something, you know that was probably a packaged folder, because most of you guys don't name something with the word folder at the end. So it's going to collect fonts that I've used. It's going to collect an InDesign document and a InDesign markup document. It does give me a warning that says that fonts are copyright protected, and if you don't own the license to the fonts, then you shouldn't use them, but these are educational use, so we're going to hit OK. And it's writing a file. It's writing the InDesign file. It's writing an InDesign markup language file, which you can open in older versions of InDesign. It's writing a PDF, and it's also managing the fonts. Now, since I have only used Garamond, it'll only collect one Garamond. Okay, so I'm going to go to my desktop, and I will see that it has created a folder called Project 1, my name, and folder. Inside of it, there will be a document fonts folder with all the fonts that I used. Now, right now, I'll just have Garamond. Oh, wait, it's got a whole bunch. Oh, I know, I typed them on a different page. It has instructions, which we don't care about that. We'll leave it there. You can throw it away if you want, but I just leave it. It has the IDML file. You must package your stuff. Do not just turn in an INDD file. One, I will mark you down automatically major points, okay? So turn in your stuff properly. I can't grade your stuff unless you package it, okay? It will postpone grading. It'll cause all sorts of havoc, so make sure you package stuff. Yes, Emily, sorry.
You compress
Mm-hmm.
the folder. Does it move inside?
Yeah, it all stays inside. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're going to compress it here in a second. Yes?
Actually, what I did, I packaged the folder, but I only sent the IND.
Oh, no, you don't want to send the INDD only. Yeah, I can't even open that on my home computer because I have old software. So I always grade at home because it's quieter and I don't have any interruption. So here I can't get anything done, which is fine. But so yeah, you want to give me the whole package folder. Otherwise, I cannot grade your stuff. Okay, so you may want to, and the cool thing is I allow unlimited attempts to turn something in. So if you turn something in incorrectly, you can go right back and turn it in again. And I always grade the most recently turned in thing, okay? So yeah, if I don't have a package file, we have big problems. It also has an INDD file, which is the one you worked on in class, but those two are identical. That IDML file and the INDD file, they're actually identical as far as if I open them in InDesign, they look the same. And the last thing it provides is a PDF. So if you guys are out at home and you're like, man, I want to print this. I don't want to print it at school. I'm already out and I'm close to a FedEx or a Office Max or Office Depot or someplace like that. You can give them the PDF and they can print from it. It's more expensive than coming to school and doing it. But if you're, crunching and you need to do it there, then you can. Okay, so we packaged it. I always double check to make sure everything is there when I package it. Now we're going to take this packaged folder and we're going to right click on it. And when you right click on that folder, you'll have about 5 items down the word compress and then the name of your folder. You want to click on that compress. And what it does is it actually created, I'll move it up here, a zip file. Now, Blackboard will not take folders with multiple objects. It will take files. So I can't turn this folder into Blackboard, but I can turn the zip file into Blackboard. And when I download your zip file, I will decompress it and it will look just like this folder, more or less. It'll have everything in it that you packaged, okay? So you have to zip them, though, or compress them in order to turn them in. And I can't open 7-zip. I can only open the one that has a .zip at the end. So if you have compression software at home that's different, I can't remember what ones I've gotten before from students, but it's really difficult for me to uncompress or decompress something that's not done through the zip method. All right, so let's figure out how to turn that in, and then we'll figure out how to print in a second. So I'm going to go to Blackboard, and that would be through Chrome typically. And this will be in last week's class folder today. Okay, so we're going to go to week 1. Let me log in. So I'm getting to our typography class, and I'm going to go to our week 1 class. And you can either go through the first week's announcement, or if you don't want to scroll down, you can hit class sessions, and then click on weeks 1 through 7, and then click on week 1. Now you won't see weeks 3, 4, 5, and 6 because they're not available to you yet. But you can see I've done my planning and I have them there. But week 1, and you will see in the week 1 folder, 3rd item down, project 1, or turn in project 1 here. You click on that underlying link, and then you will scroll down to the attach file area, the assignment submission attach file area. Hello, Albert. How are you? And you're going to hit Browse My Computer, and you're going to find, whether it's on your flash drive, the desktop, wherever it is, if all that is out here. So mine is on my desktop right now. I'm going to find my zip folder, and I'm going to hit Open. And you will see that it's now here as an attachment, and I will hit Submit. Okay, now I'm not going to actually hit Submit. It'll just give me an error because I'm the teacher. But you would scroll down to the bottom and hit Submit, and electronically you then submitted your homework. Okay? And you'll do that on every exercise and project for this class. So this is why I'm recording this, is so that if you forget how to do it, you have it as a recording. Okay? So I would hit Submit, and then it would tell me that, see, mine gives me an error because I'm the teacher, but it should tell you that you've submitted it. And again, if you need to submit it a second time, just click on that underlying link and do it again. I will grade the most recent submission. Okay, so that's how you turn in digital files. Now let's talk about printing. I'm going to open up my INDD file or my IDML. It doesn't really matter. My InDesign markup language. And we're going to print. Now this is on 8.5 by 11 paper. There's no bleeds. There are no graphics that go to the edge of the page. So this is a pretty simple process for printing. We don't have to deal with crop marks or anything. So here's how we would print. We go to File and Print, or Command P. That's normally what I use. Command P. On a PC, it's Control P. And in this print dialog box, we have a few different printers available. It's down here, the second item from the top. you have, this is interesting. We have laser 1 in room 328 right here. So we are in room 328 right now. We have laser printer number 2 in 341, which is the open lab down the hallway towards that drinking fountain down there. We also have laser number 1 and 2 down there. So there's 2 laser printers down there. But we're going to choose laser 1. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to dig in here and make sure that we tell it we want to print it black and white. Because if we just hit print, it'll charge us color rates. And color is more expensive than black and white by quite a bit, by 5 or 6 times. So we're going to we're going to dig in here and find out where we need to go to make sure this prints in black and white. So right now I'm going to go to Setup, which is the next item down over here in that first column. We are printing to letter size paper. And let me make sure letter size paper is loaded. It is, but there should be enough there. Anytime I open the printer tray and check, it's going to ask me, hey, what kind of paper did you put in me? So it says 8.5 by 11, plain white. I hit OK. All right, so letter. Page position. Now, this is we're going to try to make it habitual or a habit to tell the page position to be centered, not center horizontally or vertically, but centered. That's a good habit to get into, especially later on when we're doing front to back printing. We want things to line up. Now, by default, IT has set these to print front to back, so we also have to turn that off because we don't want this to print front to back. So I can't turn it off in this window, but I'll show you where. Marks and bleeds, since we don't have to worry about crop marks or anything, we don't deal with that. Now, output. This is where I'm going to dig around and I'm going to see what I can change so that I can tell the printer, hey, this is black and white. So where it says composite CMYK, that's color. That's cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So instead of composite CMYK, I'm going to maybe say composite gray. And also maybe text as black. I'm like dotting my I's and crossing my T's here. And also, there's another place I noticed in color management, I believe. Let me try to find it there. Okay. Keep on looking. I'm looking here. Nothing's moving. Oh, it's like it's locked up. Okay, there we go. Huh. Well, I hit on advanced, nothing happens. There we go. It's really slow. Jeez. This is really slow. I clicked on color management. It's taking forever to get there. Okay, go back to general. I'm just being very impatient right now. So that window is not the general window. Come on. There we go. And I'm going to go back to color management. Okay. Looking to see output color is composite gray. Okay. I was going to check on print as bitmap, but it is not an option because we've already told it that our output is composite gray. Okay. So hopefully that'll be enough to make it charge us black and white. And I don't know what it's charging you guys because it doesn't charge me because I'm a teacher. So you guys will get the window, and when you get the window, it says, hey, I'm going to charge you 45 cents. You go, cancel, because you don't want to pay 45 cents for, well, in fact, we have 5 sheets. So 5 times 45 cents. I believe it's 45 cents, or 5 times 30 cents. So if it's like $1.50 or higher, cancel it so that we can dig a little further and find out why it's charging you color rates, okay? So hopefully with composite gray and text is black, it will not. Now I'm going to hit print. And I'm actually going to tell it only print page 1 because that's all I have. You want it to print all your pages. Oh, crap. Oh, well, if you hit print and we forgot to turn two-sided off, whenever this pay for print window comes up, hit cancel. Go, no, I don't want to pay for that. Thank you, T. Go if you've already hit print, cancel it. But if you haven't, we need to turn off two-sided printing. That's found, yeah, let's see. That's found under the printer button. It's the second one over at the bottom. Printer, second one over from the left bottom. You get a warning, hit OK. And here, thank you T for reminding me of that, turn off two-sided printing, okay? So uncheck that. There we go, much better. I'm going to hit print, and I'm going to hit the print button in the lower right, and then it's going to process it, and it's going to ask me, do you want to pay for this? To turn off the double-sided printing, in the lower left-hand corner, there is a printer button right here. You click on that, hit OK, and then where it says two-sided right here, make sure that's unchecked. Okay? And because I chose this printer right here, oh, Malia, she beat me. Here's Malia's. But I only told her to print my one page because I didn't have them all done. But there is something like this. Is that okay?
You have all 12 pages in there, right? That's why I'm gonna go back.
As I'm heading back up to the gate, it's not to show it, not to make mistakes. You want to return it in and write it on there that says check. We don't have to print it. What's that? See last three. Well, it's not you. Okay, it's you're a very difficult person. Oh, okay. Well, I wonder if, I think when we were toggling back and forth, I noticed it wants to automatically switch that gray composite gray back to composite CMYK. So I wonder if it automatically fix back to okay? All right. Okay, we have a learning moment here that many of you will have the same problem. Here we have 5 And you'll notice that Garamond has gone a little astray with its black box around the type. You see that? Can you tell there's a black box around there? And that happens pretty frequently when you're working in design. And let me show you how to solve that problem. Okay, so when you're in the working mode where we have grids, you can't see certain things because we have binding boxes around our type, and those are those blue lines. But sometimes those binding boxes have a stroke on them for a number of reasons, mainly because perhaps, don't know if this happened to you or not, but if you were playing around with the color buttons, if you clicked on this tiny little button in the near the fill and the stroke area, it's got a default fill of nothing and a stroke of black. But you can't see the stroke of black around this box that I just stroked. Can't see it at all. Zoom in. Oh, there it is. But those bounding boxes being blue, when you're zoomed out, you can't see them. Assuming you're not in a text box, if you hit the W key, W means what you see is what you get. Okay, that's a print preview. W key, I can see, oh, I got a box around something. That's a stroke. So to take that off, there are a few different ways you can take it off, actually. Over in the Tools panel, I like to make my tools in 2 columns. The reason why is the fill and stroke buttons are so small in the single column, I can't function as easily. So I click on the little arrow in the upper left-hand corner of the toolbar so that it gets into 2-column mode. But I can see that there's a solid square and then there's a hollow square. I like to call it the square donut. But this hollow square, when I click on it, I click on the corner of that hollow square, it brings it to the front. That means anything I'm going to affect is going to be for this stroke. So that's the stroke. So I can click on that and I can hit the None button, which is right here in near the lower right-hand corner on that toolbar. Okay, so that's one way. Now I'm going to put the stroke back on there and show you another way. Another way to kill the stroke, and this is probably a little bit more simple, is up here at the control panel at the top. This control panel changes depending on if you have type selected or boxes or whatever. But here I have the little square hollow object here. I can click on the arrow and just let this flyout poke up and say, none, thank you. So that's another way to turn off a stroke. Now there's even another way to turn off the stroke, so I'm putting the stroke back on there. And the last way that I use is going to swatches, if you have those up in your control panel, and you can go here to None, making sure this little square hollow guy is in the front. You don't hit the flipper, because the flipper fills it with black and strokes it with None. It reverses what's happening. So make sure you actually click on the little box and hit None. Okay, so those little strokes pop up quite frequently while you're working. In fact, if you were to draw a text box and if the last text box had a stroke on it, every text box you draw from that point on oftentimes has a stroke on it. It's kind of a pain in the neck. So you just got to be aware, and you don't, and maybe zoom in or hit the W key, and so you can see if you got any strokes on anything, and if you do, take them off. All right, very good. So we printed it, we packaged it, we turned it in digitally, and we printed it. And basically what you'll want to do with those prints, you already have your name on them because you typeset it as part of the assignment. But we'll get a stapler. We used to have a couple, here's one. And you want to staple those. It's full of staples. Make sure you have Garamond first, then Baskerville, then Bodoni, then Century Expanded, then Helvetica. So make sure they're in the right order. And you want to go ahead and bring those up and staple them. I know the stapler, oftentimes you have to leave it on the desk and staple. If you hold it up and try to staple it, it staples all crazy. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to stop this recording too. Yeah, right there's fine.